Good morning to you. The Braves, the standard, right? It is all working, and Aaron Boone giving credit where it is due. Listen to this.
Look, right now they're the class of the league. I mean, clearly, and that's where you want to be. And they're obviously putting together a pretty great season, and have been now kind of in that National League for the last several years, and have a lineup that's really rugged and balanced, and a little peek into where you're trying to get to.
You wrote in the Post recently, it is a copycat league. Why isn't anyone copying the Braves? What do you mean by that? And is it that simple?
Well, it's not simple. I mean, and the Braves are obviously doing this at the top of the sport. But, Lauren, it's a copycat league. 25 to 27 teams, I would say, are reading from the same blueprint. It's a very analytic one. And the proviso here is this is not to trash. You better be at the forefront of sports science, analytics. But Moneyball at its heart is about finding undervalued assets. I think the most undervalued asset right now is playing the game well. The actual baseball, they're in the midst of playing 7 straight games against the New York teams. Over the weekend, I watched a base hit to center field against the Mets, and Ozzie Albies scored from first base. Last night during Harrison Bader fantasy camp, or what's ever going on there, the Yankees are losing 8-2. The guy with the best pickoff move in the league picks him off at first base. The Yankees and Mets, I watch it every night. They're bad at baseball. You know who's good at baseball? They have a veteran coaching staff, the Atlanta Braves. They care about things like durability that used to count instead of load management. They're just good at the sport. I know the Atlantic people say they hit home runs. That's why they're good. I don't know. I'm in the midst of watching 7 straight games against the New York teams, and you could say the New York teams are in bad place. They're just playing so much cleaner and better. And I just think this is the Moneyball theory. Be good at baseball. It's a place where you could gain a big advantage right now, and they're gaining a big advantage.
You mentioned load management. I mean, Ozzie sat out yesterday.
He just went on the injured list, actually.
Acuna and Olsen and Riley all on pace for 162 games. Those are the 3, by the way. That sets the standard.
So there were 6 players in the whole sport who, through the weekend, had played in the field, so not the DH, every game this season. It was the 4 Braves, and now Albies is out. And one of the other was Marcus Semien, whose durability is big to why the Rangers loved him and signed him. The other guy was Freddie Freeman. And Freddie Freeman is a guy, I talked to Walt Weiss, their bench coach, about this over the weekend. Chipper Jones to Freddie Freeman. We talk culture all the time. It's one of those words people go, well, we need a better culture. And then you go, what does that mean? And they go, you don't get a real answer. That's part of culture.
Freddie's responsible for that graphic that you just saw right there, yes?
He's part of a lineage that getting on the field is an ability. Like, we talk tools. Again, an analytic thing is you look and say, well, this is what he's projected. Yeah, but one of the things I never have to find out about is what the WAR of the backup third baseman of the Braves is. So I think that should be added to Austin Riley. I don't have to find out what the WAR of the backup right fielder is. Acuna plays every day.
But isn't it a mix? Because Brian Snicker was on MLB Now, and I think it was Brian Kenny, and he said, what do you think about ex-WOBA? And Brian goes, I don't know what the heck that means. There's a mix, though, because that matters, too.
I began with the proviso by saying if you're not at the vanguard of analytics,
but it's more
sports
than that.
Science, but at the beginning at 7 o'clock every night, a debate doesn't break out, a game breaks out, a contest breaks out, and being competitive and good at that, and understanding the context of what WOBA means, what it all means. It's like the scoreboard needs to be telling you something. The scoreboard needed to be telling Harrison Bader something last night at 8-2 with the best pickoff move in the sport there. Stand on the base, right? Like the game is informing you constantly. The other stuff is about probabilities. Now take the probabilities and put it into the competition and be competitive and good at the sport. The Atlanta Braves are that.
By the way, I was at the Phillies game on Friday. I found it very interesting. I looked up at the scoreboard. There was no average. No, there wasn't a batting average on the scoreboard. I haven't seen that in a long time. That's interesting. That's where, the future of the game, I guess. Also in the Post, you wrote about the future of Pete Alonso, and I saw the line, the parties remain publicly committed to Alonso as a Met. What will his future be and where, Joel?
Yeah, I wonder if that's the party line, because publicly this is what you say. I'll say this, Lauren. Last offseason, when the Mets were coming off 101 wins, and we're in a fervor to try to do even better than that. The owner, Steve Cohen, okayed across the board huge spending, including on key guys to preserve for a long time from the team. Nimmo, Diaz, they were both free agents. Jeff McNeil wasn't. He got extended. And it seems clear to me that Alonso's a very popular Met, very good on the field. They probably went to him. I'm sure they went to him. The fact that it didn't get done for this owner at that time means that there had to be a large
spending.
What he was willing to do, the gap between what the Mets probably are thinking, which is what's the first base market? Freeman, Olson, Goldschmidt. Those are like 26, 27 million a year for a limited amount of time. And what Alonso's thinking, I'm not those guys. I'm Judge. I'm homegrown. I'm beloved by the fans. I'm the fourth most power hit in the sport. That's 360. Even for Steve Cohen, there had to be a gap there that he couldn't get to. And I think at this point, he enters his, the Mets probably listened about him at the trade deadline. They clearly are not prioritizing 2024 as much as they are 25, 26. He's a free agent after the season. I think he's probably in play if they hear the right thing this offseason. He's in play next July if they're not in the race. And now I'm not sure. I think they'll say go out in the market and prove that, you could get considerably, look at this, considerably more than Olson. You see that number there by Cabrera?
Yeah.
That's 31. His adds up to I think it's 31 a year. That's about a 10, 12-year ago contract. No first baseman's come close to the total amount or the average annual value of that since he signed it. The sport, we're talking about what's happened with analytic front offices.
Yeah.
They do not put a lot of respect on this position. They generally don't think it ages well. Now, guys like Freeman and Goldschmidt, who are top athletes, they're aging very well. Would you say that about Alonso? Would the Mets believe that about Alonso? I think it's the reason he has not signed to an extension yet.
Gosh, a lot of question marks for the Mets. Joel Sherman with the latest. Thank you. Robert, take it away.